Stepney the Bluebell Engine was enjoying his visit to the Island of Sodor. He had just spent a few weeks helping the other engines, and it was nearly time to return home. Stepney had had a wonderful time, and began to feel sort of depressed. Donald and Edward did their best to console him. "I just feel like I'm always coming and going, mate. I feel like I never make an impact on anyone because I'm always leaving places." "Okay, I hear ya. A wee engine like yourself needs to have his wheels in one place for a while. You just need to feel more at home," said Edward sympathetically. "Cheer up. I'm sure a nice long run on a day like today will clear your smoke box." This made Stepney feel much better. He said his goodbyes and set off to help Duck and Oliver on the Little Western. When Stepney arrived on Duck's branch line, Duck and Oliver greeted him warmly. There was plenty of work to do, and the engines happily tended to their duties. Later that afternoon, Duck had to take some passengers to the other end of the line. He asked Stepney if he would take a ballast train to an old line near the narrow gorge. "The ridge overlooks the Osdale Railway," Duck said. "You won't miss it." Stepney was euphoric, and masqueraded down the line with a song in his firebox. The shunter fastened the coupling, and Stepney proudly departed with his train of ballast, bound for the gorge near the mountains. Down the line, Donald was helping dock the ballast spreader to add fresh ballast to an old scenic track. There wasn't enough ballast to go around, so the workmen were applying a special sort of weed killer to keep the rails free of weeds until fresh ballast could be obtained. "I live to perfection," said Doc triumphantly. "Look at these rails, a work of art and not a single weed in sight." "Dinna fast yourself," grumbled Donald. "I suspect that someone's a wee bit too close to all that weed killer." Before Doc could reply, Stepney thundered by. "G'day, mate!" "Slow down!" cried Donald, but it was too late. Stepney lost control. His driver applied the brakes, but the train only coasted down the line towards an old workshed. Down below, Frank and Mike, the Arsdale Railway engines, were resting while their freight cars were being loaded with wool for their journey home. "Ugh, surrounded by sheep all day," Mike complained. "What a waste of a good afternoon." "I guess it could be worse," suggested Frank. "How could it possibly be any worse? We could be automobiles or lorries and get stuck in traffic from time to time." "That's a ridiculous suggestion. Oh, I'm sick of waiting around and I want something exciting to happen." "That is thoroughly unrelated to sheep," said the sheep. "Well, someone certainly knows how to make an entrance." Stepney's driver and fireman not only survived the treacherous fall, but miraculously landed in a cart of wool, leaving the calamity without a single scratch. Stepney was badly shaken. His boiler was dented and his wheels felt cracked and crooked. Mike immediately set off to find help. Stepney's visit to Sodor, thanks to his accident, lasted much longer than he had anticipated, but when he was properly mended, he was ready to return to the Bluebell Railway and say his final goodbyes. "I'll miss you all," he said, "and I hope to come back again, but instead of a phenomenal entrance, I'd much prefer to make a sophisticated exit." Following a chorus of whistles, the little engine puffed out into the